want to be respectful of your time. And so we want to go ahead and get started with our session today. And so I'd like to welcome you all to our session on effective journaling. And this session is being recorded. And so we just want to let everyone know that it's being recorded in order to share it out to the wellness website afterwards for people that were unable to break away and attend today. And so on our call today, we have Dr. Megan Hayes, and she is an associate professor here at UAB, and she also has many other accolades to her name. She is with the UAB Department of Physical Medicine and Rehab and Associate Director of Education here at the UAB Medicine Office of Wellness. And so we're excited to have her starting off today. And then along with her, we have Salaam Green. She is an artist in residence. She's a listener, poet, and an expressive writer. And she is UAB Arts and Medicine is where she is spending her time. And so, again, we're happy to have them both with us today. So I want to go ahead and turn this over to Dr. Megan Hayes. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Hi, everybody. And thank you for that introduction, Allison. So I'm going to kick us off today. I'm going to be tag teaming this with Salaam Green over in Arts and Medicine. So we're really excited. As I told Salaam, I'm the boring part. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kind of the research background. I'm going to tell you guys about the benefits of journaling, and then I'm going to hand it over to Salaam, who is our creative expert. And I'm really excited for her to guide you all through an exercise in journaling as well. I also wanted to announce, and we'll announce this at the end after we take questions. The first 200 people who registered for this awesome event are going to get a UAB branded journal, and you guys are going to be receiving an email from our HR after this session with instructions on how to obtain that journal. So I think that's a fun thing just to get you all started. Although, as you learn, you don't need to have any kind of fancy notebook to journal, but it is nice to have one. All right, so we'll go ahead and get going. So I'm going to start off with some of the evidence-based benefits of journaling so you guys can understand, for every why, there's a how. So if you know exactly how journaling can benefit you, it can be a little more motivating. I want to talk about some myths about journaling because there's a lot of myths out there that I think can cause some barriers to getting started on this awesome practice. I want to tell you all a little bit about different types of journaling that you can try, as well as some tips to make that a healthy habit. And then Salaam, of course, is going to guide you all through a guided journaling practice and some reflection. And then we're going to have a really active, hopefully, Q&A where you can just ask some questions or make comments or share your experiences. And then we'll also answer any questions that you have. So my background, I am a clinical psychologist. So I assign therapeutic journaling as a practice to my clients quite often. So that's how I kind of got interested in this topic. So I just wanted to tell you all a little bit about my background. First, I'd love to hear from you guys. So I have a few discussion questions here. Feel free to tell us anything and everything about what you've tried so far. But just a few things to get us started. If you've tried journaling before, what has your experience been like? Have you noticed any benefits when you've tried journaling, or have you experienced more challenges or barriers that came up when you gave it a try? Feel free to type something in the chat or just unmute yourself and let us know your experience.
I'll go ahead. I'm Eva Lewis, and I think that it was interesting to look back on what my thoughts were, even 6 months before, and what I feel like it helped me change some things about my approach or my thinking, but it's very hard for me to keep it up.
Yeah, so I really like that. It sounds like it helped to organize some of your thoughts, feelings, and thinking and experiences, which is one of the benefits. But also a very common barrier, like you said, is making that a healthy habit for good, or keeping up with it. And we'll talk about that some today. I actually see a lot of comments in the chat here. I see a common theme here. Some people say they haven't tried it. Some people say in terms of challenges, it felt weird. Others saying they loved it, been journaling for years. Again, I've tried it, but can't remember to do it. Kayla said, I tried journaling, but I tend to brain dump, and that is absolutely okay, by the way. I'm usually challenged to continue it. Yep. I feel silly when I try to journal. It's also hard to keep up with it. Haven't journaled in a very long time. I'm not good at making time. And Allie, I like the way you phrase that, because you're absolutely right. It's not about finding time. It's about making time. And I'll discuss that today. Sarah mentioned I've tried journaling before. It's worked, but I fail to do it every day. I'll mention that as a myth. You don't need to do it every day. So that's all right. You're already on the right track. Let's see. Also worried about handwriting. Benefits and challenges. I like how it helps me reframe ideas and experiences, takes discipline. Great. Yeah, you guys are doing awesome with all these comments. Anyone else want to unmute themselves and mention some experiences?
This is Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, everyone. I think for me, it just keeps me in tune with myself. I'm always giving out to others, always. And that's just what my nature is. In my professional role, in my personal role, I'm just a nurturer and I'm always giving out. So when I sit down at the end of the day and I write down my internal thoughts, my private thoughts, I actually sit back and I read it like I'm reading someone's book. And I'm like, this is Charlotte. This is you, girl. So it just really connects me with a being, with a person, and not a role or a title. It's the intimacy of my personal thoughts of who I am, my desires, my wishes, that it's finally been written on paper, and I can look back and be like, wow, you are just like, okay, you're okay. You can communicate with yourself. So it's just been a quite an experience for me that I can tap into myself and feel my emotions, my mindset, my desires, how I felt that day, and why I felt that way that day or that moment.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And separating yourself from your roles, whatever those roles may be for us all, from you as a person and a being. And one of the things that is so freeing and helpful about journaling is that it is a safe space, because it is only for you, unless you decide to share it with someone else. So you can, it's challenging to even stop judging ourselves sometimes, but it is a great space to put your thoughts and feelings without the judgment or without trying to fit into some type of role. So thanks for sharing that. Great. Anyone else?
I will. I'm Kim. I've been journaling for years and years and years. But I think for me, it's being able to actually name an emotion and name a feeling is so powerful, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I'm really mad, and I don't really know why I'm mad, but like sitting down and be able to write it out. And I also use that with my 6-year-old because they have no clue what they're feeling. And so being able to like kind of help them work through those feelings and being able to actually name what you're feeling, I think is just a big point of actually being able to get through that. And then there's a lot of times that, yes, it is very hard to keep it up, but I make a point of doing something every day. So like the gratitude journaling is really big. And so even if it's just, I'm going in and I write one sentence about what I saw today that just really hit me or really made an impact or something. So it doesn't have to be like a full blown, like 2, 3, 4 pages, but even just one sentence. So that's been a help to kind of keep it going every day.
Yes, I love that, Kim. These big little feelings that kids have, absolutely. The practices that we can model for our children is also really great, right? And you're modeling a great practice. So naming emotions, naming feelings is an important part of mindfulness practice as well, which is another evidence-based tool for managing big emotions. So you're kind of already teaching your kid mindfulness, which is wonderful. And that is also avoiding the all or none thinking of journaling, like, oh, if I don't have a full 30 minutes to an hour session, write pages and pages. It's not worth it. That's absolutely not true. So that's one of the myths that I'll cover today. So this discussion is great, and I want to continue this at the end when we have our Q&A. So I'm going to keep going here just to fill y'all in a little more information about journaling. So what exactly is journaling? Today I want to focus more on the therapeutic style of journaling, because that differs a little bit from a simple diary where you're saying, kind of an account of events from the day, and just listing things that you did. That's also useful in its own way. But I'm more interested, and I think you guys are probably more interested in using journaling as a tool to help manage difficult emotions or stressful experiences that you've been through and to improve your well-being. But really all it is writing down your thoughts and feelings about personal experiences, right? And that's really it. I think one big mistake that we all make is trying to make it too much of a thing, if you will. And it's really not. It can be quite simple. So that's the very simple definition. So why do we do therapeutic journaling? And from my perspective as a psychologist, what are some of the emotional benefits? Well, it allows us to process difficult events that have occurred or problems that we have, right? It helps us to, as Charlotte was talking about earlier, have almost a better understanding of ourselves, or to develop a new perspective on what we've been through or some of the difficulties that were going on, and helps us to externalize a little bit of those emotions so we don't become enmeshed in them. It also allows us to use the written word to express a full range of emotions, reactions, and perceptions that we have. All of our emotions are helpful, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. And this allows us a conduit to get through our emotions, right? The only way out is through. So we're not trying to get around them. And it also allows us to construct a meaningful personal narrative when we have really upsetting, stressful, or traumatic life events. It allows us to take a step back and to reclaim our narrative and to even construct a narrative, because we're oftentimes trying to make sense of some senseless situations. So how can we come up with a narrative and make sense of that for ourselves? So what is the evidence base for journaling? This is, the piece that's really important to me, because I would never prescribe a practice to a client or a patient that doesn't have some type of evidence base, or at least I would very rarely do that, and only if they wanted to. But that evidence base is important. We're an academic medicine institution. So this is the piece that I think really helps with the why. Like, why do you want to make this a priority for yourself? Well, for one thing, we know that it leads to a reduction in anxiety and depression symptoms. Both depression and anxiety are accompanied by negative thoughts. Journaling allows you to get these thoughts down on paper, to process them in a more analytical, rational way, and then respond appropriately to them. So it gives you that pause. It gives you that chance to figure out, what thoughts am I having? What thoughts might I be having that are leading to these depressed and anxious feelings? And then what do I want to do differently in my thinking? Can I think about this a different way? What else might be true? And how do I want to respond to this? Another really interesting benefit is improved immune function. The exact mechanism behind this, we're still not sure of in the literature, but what we do know is that people who journal end up with better immune systems, and that's pretty awesome. There are significant benefits for individuals with a variety of medical conditions. So I find this to be really interesting. So just a few in the literature that I'll list for you guys. We see better lung functioning in individuals with asthma. We see improved disease severity in individuals with rheumatoid arthritis. We see benefits from journaling for pain associated with cancer, and also just chronic pain in general, pain intensity in women with pelvic pain. Speaking of immune response, we see for individuals with HIV infection that they have improved immune response. And we even see improved post-operative course for a number of surgeries. So if you have a surgery and you end up journaling afterward, you tend to have a better hospital course, which I just find to be pretty amazing. Now, I know I'm probably not the only one who struggles with sleep sometimes. And one of the great benefits of journaling is that it can improve how long it takes you to fall asleep if you're struggling with sleep. And oftentimes falling asleep is a challenge for individuals having a bout of insomnia or who just struggled with sleep throughout their lives. But it helps you to fall asleep earlier. It also, of course, helps with recovery from traumatic events. And there are entire psychotherapy protocols that are built around writing and that are evidence-based. It can also improve memory function, which is pretty fascinating. I think that probably the mechanism behind this and what some papers are showing is that it helps to improve our attention, but it also helps to consolidate memories. So if we're writing it about an event that just occurred, it can help to consolidate that memories in our brain and to help us to hold on to that better. It's also helpful in specific life circumstances that are stressful. So we're thinking about divorce here, or breakup with a long-term partner, the death of a loved one, unemployment, natural disasters like what we saw with Katrina. There's been some literature about that, and general stressful life events that just come up. So as you can see, there is a whole host of benefits that journaling can have for us, especially when we look at therapeutic journaling in particular. So real quick, I want to get to some myths about journaling. And a lot of these myths get in the way of actually doing the journaling. So I think it's important that I try to bust a few of these myths for you guys. Myth number one, I need a special notebook to journal. That is something that I hear a lot about. And yes, you're going to get a great notebook today. But the key to making journaling a healthy habit is to find what works for you. If you enjoy using a fancy journal with your name on it, go ahead and use that. That's great if it gets you excited about it. But you certainly don't have to use a notebook. You could use a notepad in your phone. You can even use voice memos. You can use your computer or a tablet. And, in my case, a legal pad kept by your bed. You could do random sheets of paper, Post-its, index cards, or even a napkin. So please, please do not let the special notebook get in the way of writing. Myth number two, you have to be good at writing in order to journal. Go ahead and just throw that concept out the window. We're not trying to be Virginia Woolf here. You don't need to worry even about your grammar, spelling, or how profound what you're writing is. Just think of it like a thought download, get your words onto the page. And you don't even have to stick with just writing. If that's something that makes you feel self-conscious, you could paste images into your journal, create lists with bullet points. You can draw, you can sketch, you can make symbols and dashes if you can't get the words out. So really no reason to worry about how good your writing is. I need to journal the correct way is our myth number three. Let's also throw that out the window. It doesn't have to be any type of way. There is no perfect here. There is simply writing, and there's no need to judge anything that you put on the paper. Myth number four, I need a lot of time to journal, and I just don't have that time right now. I always tell people you're going to find time like you're going to find $1 million, right? It would be great, but your schedule isn't going to just magically clear itself for you to start journaling. You simply have to make the time by being intentional. And you certainly don't need a lot of time to do it. You could bullet point 3 things you're grateful for or 1 thing and be done for the day, even just a phrase. So don't worry about the time, just get to writing. Myth number 5, I need to journal every day. I don't know why some people think they have to do a healthy habit every single day in order to be successful. You are successful if you meet your goal, right? So great. If you want to try every day, that's fine, but that's kind of a tough goal to start with. You don't need to put that pressure on yourself to journal every single day. Life will inevitably happen and you might miss a day or even a month, and you might get discouraged. So avoid that all or nothing thinking and remind yourself that something is always better than nothing. Myth number 6 is I should feel better immediately after journaling. I want to share with you guys that it's common to feel somewhat down or depressed immediately after writing, especially in the first day or two. But typically this feeling lasts just for a few minutes or hours. And the benefits of journaling show up over time through the emotional processing of these difficult experiences. So don't feel like you're doing it wrong if you don't feel great afterwards right away. And finally, myth number 7, someone will see what I write. Privacy is the number 1 consideration for your journal. If you want to keep your writings, you could password protect them on your computer, or you could keep a notebook in a locked drawer that only you have the key for. Otherwise, you can feel free to destroy what you've written after each session. It doesn't matter. You decide what you do with it. This writing can be for your eyes only, and it is important that it's a safe space for you. So I wanted to just review quickly a few different styles of journaling. The expressive writing protocol was developed by Dr. Pennebaker, and it is the most widely used in research method that's utilized in my clinical practice and in most clinical practices for mental health professionals. But certainly don't feel chained to this. But if you just feel like you need some type of guidance, what this involves is picking some type of stressful, traumatic, or emotional experience and writing about it over 4 consecutive days. You could do maybe a session each day, or like you could do a session, 3 sessions over the course of it, or 5 sessions, whatever you need. But each session is only about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you're done, right? So that's far cry from every single day out of the month. So you could try that if you just want something to guide you. You can try gratitude journaling. There's a lot of research-based benefits of gratitude. And this could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, or 5, or 1, or 10, whatever works for you. You could also try stream of consciousness journaling, where you just pour out like a thought download, whatever's on your mind, thoughts, feelings, etc. And right now, bullet journaling is very popular. I feel like this appeals to people who are more artistic. For me, that's a little scary because I'm not at all. I'm very right brain, or left brain, excuse me. But if you enjoy kind of pasting things into your journal, making it look neat and pretty, using different markers, this could also be a great opportunity for you to integrate some art into your writing. Tips for making it a habit: be specific about your journaling goal. So for example, it's not enough to say, I want to journal more. The problem with that is that it's too general and you don't know when you've achieved it. So I would suggest making a really specific goal, like I'm going to journal 3 times this week for at least 30 minutes each time. And I'm going to schedule these sessions in advance on my calendar and check them off once I've done them. You can piggyback off existing habits. So this is probably the easiest way to add it in. So let's say you're having your morning coffee every morning without fail. You could squeeze in 10 minutes of journaling while you're having that coffee because you're already doing it every day. Let's say if you watch a show after dinner every day, you could try 15 minutes of journaling right before the show, and then you get to still watch the show, right? So it's a nice way to treat yourself after you've done this healthy habit. But definitely prepare for lapses. Avoid the all or none thinking of, I've ruined my goal, so I might as well not continue trying. I'll start again Monday, next month, next year. No, you can start anytime, anywhere. You've got a reset button right here in the palm of your hand. Don't have to wait till next week. And a few words of caution. If you've experienced a massive trauma, you may want to avoid writing about the specific details of what you've experienced for the several weeks afterward. We found that this can increase distress during that initial adjustment period. So just wait about a month, and if you really want to go through the details. However, please feel free to write about the thoughts and feelings that you're having during that time, because that can be really helpful. But you don't need to write like a trauma account right away. If you have a severe psychiatric disorder, I would really advise you only engage in this style of therapeutic journaling under the direction and support of a mental health professional. If writing starts to evoke some psychological distress that you feel you cannot cope with, just stop immediately and do a soothing activity for yourself. If the feeling does not go away, just contact a mental health professional if you have those lingering negative feelings. But these are kind of more rare reactions. I just want to throw this out there because it's not like journaling is magic and works for everyone at all times. And I'll leave you with this. It doesn't matter what you write, when you write, or where you write. What matters is that you write. So no rules. And if you have questions after the session, this is my information. Please don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number, my email address there. And I'm happy to share this information in the chat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Salaam, and we'll do the questions at the end.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Hayes. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've just been in writing church. I got it. So it's just like a moment. And I work with, I've been in spaces with Megan for many times. So I'm so excited to be kind of a sidekick to some of the great work that she's doing and what she just taught us. I love that quote. It doesn't matter, just write. It doesn't matter, just write. And as she was talking, I was looking to the side and I have like 20 journals over here, just all over the place. Not because I want to write, because they're pretty and I like them and they're my friends. So don't hate on the journals. They're our friends. So if you have them in your bookcases next to your bed, if you go to Target today and you're like, oh, just, love yourself and and get the journal if you can, right? Even if it's like me, I go sometimes to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General somewhere, especially doing school supply time, and like, forget the kids. I'm getting all the school supplies that I can find just for me so that I can write and color and have a good time. So such a beautiful, great presentation. What I'm going to do with you today is take you on a journey with some actual journaling and actual writing prompts. So we're going to do not the Pennebaker protocol, which is expressive writing, is what I normally do with in healing environments as an artist in resident and as a creative writer and expressive writing coach. But today I wanted to just throw out some beautiful ways that we can begin to write. So if you have something to write on, please get that. Normally, I'm always in my notes section of my phone. So I have a million notes that I'm always writing and putting there as well. And I just wanted us to take a moment, just a moment, to get into the space of writing, space of using our emotions and our feelings and our thoughts, a space of practicing, a space of journaling, a space of wellness, a space that I think we all can agree that has been set up by Dr. Hayes for us today. So if you have something, I want to start with a quick story. And if you've heard this story before, sort of like what my grandfather would say, so what? You're going to hear it again, right? So here you go. Storytelling is one way that I help to get myself into writing. And I ask others to also begin to help to get themselves into writing as well. So when I was a little girl, I grew up in a place called Greensboro, Alabama, right? Black belt, not far from here. Hallelujah, oak trees, and all those beautiful things. And outside of my growing up window, my growing up bedroom window, was this big oak tree. And every morning I would wake up, I would look underneath my mattress, and I would get my diary. Not my journal, y'all, but my diary. The one that had the golden key and that you had to unlock. And I locked my diary every night because as a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old, I had important things in my diary that I would write. So I started journaling and started my diary even at 6 or 8 years old. And every morning I would take that diary and I would run down the hall of my home and I would run out of the screen door and I would meet my beautiful fat dog, Brownie. Now, there's nothing wrong with a fat dog, is there? Absolutely not. What other kind of dog is there? So I would meet my fat dog, Brownie, underneath the oak tree. And as we sat underneath the oak tree, me with my diary and my best friend, Brownie, and the oak tree as my best friend, I would begin to write. Using my imagination, just thinking about things that were not really there. And as I used my imagination and I began to write, the oak tree became my very best friend, my place of peace, my place of solace. It was a place where I was rooted in the earth and a place where me and my best friend began to just revel in all of the beautiful things that we saw. The first writing prompt that I would like for us to do today, and I think we'll just do 2 or 3 minutes, is I want you to think about, what is your oak tree? Your place of peace, your place of solace, your place of love, the place where you feel most rooted, the place where the earth reaches up and kisses the sun just for you. Now, as we write, we simply write whatever comes up, we allow to come out. We allow ourselves to take a deep dive into our thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings are simply emotions, and emotions are simply naming a feeling: sadness, contentment, imagination, love, joy. And I know what you're thinking. I don't know where my place of peace is. Then I will ask you to imagine, if you did know where your place of peace was, where would that be? You can make it up. So for the next 3 minutes, I want you to write from the writing prompt of, what is your oak tree? What is my oak tree? And we'll come back in 3 minutes. And once we come back in 3 minutes, then we will begin to talk a little bit more about the writing. 3 minutes, my friends. Thank you. Thank you. We can come back to a gentle space in our circle, gentle space with our writing. Remember, you can always come back to your oak tree or your place of peace. You can always come back to that writing if you choose to. So wherever you are, if you want to just end it in a gentle period, periods are gentle, but maybe your writing was a gentle, so exclamation, scream at yourself, whatever you want, you feel, or question like, what was that all about? Or what have you, or comma, to be continued, or semicolon, lots to be continued. I don't remember. I'm an English major who can't remember punctuation all the time. So thank you for coming back to the circle, everyone. So I'm underneath that oak tree as an 8-year-old with my journal. Started journaling at 6 years old. Found the journal as my perfect friend, but found the oak tree as my personal friend, and found my sweet fat dog Brownie as a companion to the journaling and to the oak tree sitting. So what about your place of peace? I want you to take maybe 30 seconds to just read what you have written. Just read, skim over it, read it for maybe 30 seconds, what you have written. All right. And once you're done, if you can just look at the screen, I'm a former kindergarten, first grade teacher, and that's a teacher strategy. Whenever my little ones would start looking at me, I know they wanted something, or they were done, or they were hungry or something. And so I'm like, oh, you're looking at me. Okay, do you have the answers, or you need me? That always made me feel really good when our eyes all met each other's eyes. I knew that we were all connected. And that's the beautiful thing about storytelling and writing. The neuroscience behind writing, the neuroscience behind storytelling lets us know that once we hear a story, and as we are hearing that story, we begin to actually become one with the storyteller. So we actually, as we write our own personal stories, and we began to share and reflect on those stories, then we're actually connecting with one another, and your cells in your body meet my cells, and those two cells begin to say, maybe our DNA and our makeup are more alike than different. And it just only takes the neuroscience of the brain to tap into the writing and the storytelling in order for that to happen. So when you think about your place of peace, I want you to reflect on the writing. Not necessarily verbatim on what you wrote, but would anybody like to reflect on the writing? What thoughts or feelings, emotions, thoughts or feelings came up for you when you read your writing? What did you think about it? So I'm going to ask you to unmute, or perhaps put it in the chat, a reflection of what you wrote about your oak tree or your place of peace. No right or wrong answers, only storytelling voices. Yes, you may go, whoever's unmuted.
I realized that I haven't spent time at my oak tree in quite a while. So just sitting here made me think about, because it's a simple place. It's my balcony in my rocking chair with my dogs, at my feet. I didn't do a lot of that this summer. So this fall, I'm going to be intentional. I'm even looking up a heater to put on the balcony so I can enjoy my oak tree.
Ooh, put it in the chat. Amazon, where you getting your heater from? Because we're gonna all need that heater. We feel you. Thank you for that reflection, Leah. Thank you. Yes. Popcornet. Anyone else would like to share their reflection of their writing? Thank you, Charlotte.
My reflection, really, it was one of me reminiscing. And my place is on my deck. It's an elevated deck. And I am looking in the sky. I'm looking at a place that is so wondrously and amazingly bigger than I am, where there's no restrictions, no right or wrong. I can soar. I can become one with nature. It gives me the ability to just breathe, to soar, no competition, because it's just me and everything that's bigger than me. And it just makes me feel like I'm not small, I'm not limited, that there is so much so that I can tap into the earth. I can hear nature and all of its different voices, the birds, the dogs, all of the things that the world kinds of causes us not to hear because of the business of the day. So on that deck, looking in the sky, it's like there are so many things that's so far bigger than me that I want to become one with. And it brings me a peace that surpasses all of my understanding. And it reminds me to breathe, breathe, and again, breathe. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes.
Thank you, Charlotte. Breathe and breathe.
Breathe and breathe and breathe. Yes.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yes, I could listen to all of us all day. And yes, Charlotte, most definitely. We've got a heater. Now we're breathing. Any other reflections? This is great. I don't think we're going to go back to work after Wellness Week. Never mind. Anyone else like to share? Kimberly.
I will. So mine is a little different because my oak tree, my sense of peace is anywhere that I'm with my daughter. So just being with her, hearing her laugh, seeing her smile, even though she does drive me crazy sometimes, but just having that time with her. And I actually got a little emotional when I was writing because it just makes me feel so blessed because there's so much loss in this world. And I'm just so, so grateful that I have her in my life. And so that's my piece. It's just anytime I'm with her.
Beautiful, Kimberly. Thank you for bringing your daughter in the room with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Someone
So
wrote the, yes. Mhm.
I was just gonna, I don't know if I'm allowed to participate. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But as I was, writing and thinking about my oak tree, I couldn't stop thinking about that Danish word hygge, right? Which kind of translates to comfort, like cozy, and I was just thinking about how, lately in the fall, there's just so many things that make me feel cozy, like being on the couch with my baby and my dog and my husband and enjoying a nice pumpkin spice coffee, with all like a little cream in it and just the colors of it and the textures and the smells and the little candle going that smells like fall and just that hygge and that cozy feeling. And that just makes me feel so refreshed and cozy this time of year.
I love that. Refreshed, cozy, comfort. Let's pay close attention to the whole idea of words and what happens with writing. Of course, we resonate with positive words, but really it does change the way that our brain is beginning to signal the whole idea of stress. And sometimes trauma is stress, right? So as we start to talk about cozy and refreshed and no competition, being in the sky. And then we start talking about the love of our loved ones. All of these things are really doing what we all say they are doing. Absolutely. It is refreshing us to the space of resonant. Thank you. Thank you so much. The next thing I would like for us to do, and in the chat, I see that Donna said, I did see someone put one of theirs in the chat, and I may have passed by it, or wrote about the beach and vacations long past. Just listening to the sounds of the beach, the waves crashing, seagulls chattering, and the warm sun on my skin. Everywhere from our imagination comes description. And then that description becomes descriptive language. And that descriptive language becomes so delicious that we have no choice but to bite it. And once we bite it, our body digests that beautiful descriptions. And now our body becomes the sun, becomes the heater, becomes the balcony, becomes the sky, and becomes the oak tree. So thank you for going along with the oak tree for me and letting me bring in my fat dog Brownie and my oak tree and all of my friends and bringing in my friends. One of the things I do before I start writing is I help always ask people, to do some type of meditative space. And before I can go into a meditative space, if I have extreme stress or a major trauma, like a crisis going on, when people ask me to breathe, and we have psychologists and medical folks in the room, we know it's not always plausible for people who are going through a crisis or traumatic spaces or who are living in a traumatic space, whether that's socioeconomic or poverty or what have you, to start breathing and doing all these meditative things that are easier to, or that not maybe are easier, but are more likely accustomed to folks who might not be in the dire stress or who are recovering from the trauma or from the massiveness of the trauma. So one of the things we do in the at my culture and as part of African American meditation or Black meditation that I work with is simply putting our hands over our hearts. So I would ask you, just put your hand over your heart, that heart, your heart. I would just ask you to remember love. Even if you can't remember the love you have for yourself right now. Even if you feel as if love is far, I want you to just know that your body remembers love. Love. The love of sitting on that balcony, the love of the oak tree, the love of sitting with your dog on the couch, the love of tasting pumpkin spice in fall, the love of seeing someone's loved one hug them, hand over heart. Just breathe normally, just your normal breath, whatever that may feel or look like. Sweet memories of love. Home is inside of you. Then I'm going to ask you to just begin to lotion your arms. I know, just lotion your arms. Just put a little lotion on your arms. Simply, for those of us who might not believe lotion is great for us, it really is this time of year. No matter what your skin is, just put lotion on your arms. Give yourself all the sweetness. Just lotion your arms. Warm your hands. Warm your hands. Yes, warm them. And that brings us to our last writing prompt for today. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to ask us to do our very, very last writing prompt for today. Then we'll give some directions. Remember, you will be getting your journals. I'm so excited as well after the session. So if you have signed up, that most definitely will be coming to you. Malcolm Marla put in the comments, my father was my oak tree. He would ask me as a little boy, what do you think you want to be when you grow up? No matter what I told him, he would say something to encourage me to go for it. And though he's been gone for many years, I still whisper to him things I want to be. Things I want to be. Things I want to be. And I can hear him say, I can see that. I can see that. Beautiful. So for our last writing prompt for today, I'm going to ask you to do a question, just a question, and just to answer these questions as well. As you go back into your spaces and do the work that we have to do the tending to our family, do the mending to the world, do all of those things that we have to do. I oftentimes say, I am uprooting the shame of my past. I am tending to the roots of my pain, and I am reclaiming the power of my name. And how do I do that every day? Is I remember who I am. So our next writing prompt is to answer these questions for the next 2 minutes. Today, I defy the lie and liberate myself from blank and embrace the truth of blank. So today, I defy the lie and liberate myself from fear and embrace the truth of discovery. Today, I defy the lie and liberate myself from lack and embrace the truth of abundance. Today, I defy the lie and liberate myself from lack of excitement and embrace the truth of adventure. Today, I defy the lie and liberate myself from loneliness and embrace the truth of connection and community. So for the next 2 minutes, it's 10:49 to 10:51 or 53 or whatever, I want you to answer this question. Take a deep dive into your emotions. Find those thoughts and feelings and liberate yourself from whatever lie that has been perhaps infiltrating your life. So we'll take a couple minutes, we'll come back, you'll hear the bell, the chime, and we'll come back in. And remember, you can write as much as you would like. Whatever comes up, allowed to come out. So we'll come back in 2 minutes. Thank y'all. Please, let's all come back together. Sorry about my glitches with whatever type of technology I do. I am really great at facilitating in art and talking, but not always following the rules. What rules? No rules. Dr. Hayes has told us in the beginning that we are free from rules. Freedom is what people give you. Liberation is what you give yourself. Freedom is what people give you. Liberation is what you give yourself. So today we are liberating ourselves to write, to journal, and to find wellness and liberation in the words and in those things that we put on the page for ourselves. So today, simply what we're going to do today is we are going to defy the lie and embrace the truth. Defy the lie and embrace the truth. So would anybody, one or two people, like to unmute? And please, the chat is always open. I ask you while you're lotioning yourselves and putting your hands over your heart, warming up your hands, who would like to share with us what came up for you and what did you write?
I'll
Or what were
share
your
something.
words? Okay, go right ahead, David.
Thank you. I am defying the lie and liberating myself from isolation and embrace the truth of togetherness, because I've been kind of telling myself that, I am different from everyone around me and holding the views that I have, and I keep kind of alienating myself in that way. And so I want to really, I feel like I hold the value of being open-minded and always accepting others. So I feel like that lie is actually going against my values, and that I should find the common things with the people that are around me, and not alienate myself from them.
Everyone, let's give some snaps for David. Yes, yes. You see all these snaps on the screen. You know what that means now, right? You got family.
I've got togetherness.
You got togetherness, exactly. I love it. So anytime he's like,
Thank
oh,
you.
snap for yourself whenever you feel like that togetherness isn't there, but thank you. Anyone else? Brave soul, courageous soul.
I can share.
Yes.
So I wrote, today I defy the lie and liberate myself from self-doubt and embrace the truth of my own power and intuition. I struggle
Go
a
ahead.
lot making decisions. And I've come to discover that a lot of that comes from me having a lack of trust in myself. But I know that I have a greater power beyond even, what I can conceptualize. And I know that I have strong intuition. I just need to be more comfortable releasing myself to that and sort of letting that power drive me rather than fear.
Thank you, Hannah. Snaps for Hannah. You want some snaps?
I would love some snaps.
Yes. That we check in with your intuition. If it feels good, then we
Okay.
trust you. We trust Hannah and we trust your intuition. Power. I love that. Yes. I defy the lie and embrace the truth of and liberate myself. One more person before then we move into Q&A.
My name is Kathy, and I would like to share something with you guys. Today I defy the lie and liberate myself from my former hairstyle and embrace the truth of the gift of my new hairstyle and all that it is. I'm finding my new hairstyle is easy. It is quick. It is lovely, and it comes without too much effort. And every time I look at my hair, it reminds me of the faithfulness of God, because he went through a cancer last year, and all of the hair went bye-bye. And sometimes I used to be wrapped up in my hair. It was long and it was flowing and all of that good stuff. But when it all went away, I did something different, covered my hair with wigs. But a couple of weekends ago, I got liberated from those wigs and started walking into the newness of the hairstyle that God has blessed me with now. And what I'm finding is that it is so much more easier to handle and maintain. It doesn't have me up all night long trying to get it together to make sure that it looks good the next day. And it is just a blessing. And every day when I look at my hair, it just reminds me of just how faithful God is, how he sees ahead and provides. He knew I didn't need to spend all that time on my hair. So, hey, we did something different. And I've got shorter hair now. My shorter hair is easier to handle and it looks lovely. And I'm just grateful that God is a restoring God. He is a faithful God. And I just thank him that every day when I look in the mirror, look at myself, I see that he loves me enough to bring me back further than what I ever imagined myself to be and to do, and a new hairstyle. So I'm just grateful and I thank him for it. So I'm going to tell you what my oak tree is.
Yes,
My oak
we
tree
will
is
give time for
meditating
this.
on the faithfulness of God. So if you've ever heard Goodness of God by CeCe Winans, her Believe For It album, that's a place where I'm meditating and just reminiscing and just feel the warmth of God's love just wrapping and embracing me and letting me know that, hey, I've got you. I've got you wherever you are. So.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for allowing us to give time to that. Oh, let me take off my hair too, my head wrap. Just let my hair out. I'm liberated with you. Woo, you just liberated me. So thank you. The point that we got out of all of that, togetherness, good enough, truth of success, values, power. This is what we're liberating ourselves. And this is our liberation, power and greater power, intuition, love, new hairstyle, less effort, faithfulness, walking into the newness of now. Walking into the newness of now is our mantra for effective journaling, writing to wellness, walking into the newness of now. Writing into the newness of now is the name of our journaling club. Anyway, writing into the newness of now. Snaps, everyone. Thank you. If there are any questions, we have 1 minute. 1 minute, but I'm sure we can take, however, a little bit longer, a couple more minutes. Are there any questions or comments? You can find my information. I'm Salaam Green at salamgr@uab.edu, and you can find me there. With art, as I'm an artist in resident, and so please look me up and Megan up as well. We can do duo, or you can look us up single to come out and to support you. Are there any other questions or comments? Where do we sign up for the journal? Was it a separate spot or a place to do that?
You will receive the journal from having been in attendance today. So you're going to receive an email about that, about what you need to do in order to receive that journal. So look for that email to come.
Yes. I love what Malcolm said. His non-hair is one of his biggest gifts. I saw that. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody so much. And feel free to email with any questions that you might have, either of us or both of us. But we really enjoyed this, and I'm just really glad to see so much participation too. I really enjoyed hearing all of your words. So thank you for sharing.
Thank y'all. Keep writing, do the right thing. Snaps, everyone. Good job. Thank y'all. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.